Hey everyone, welcome to the Saturday Night Live. So we got some housekeeping stuff to do real quick. First and foremost, as you can see behind me always, I have my little boxes of tactical snacks. You can get them in Watermelon Overwatch and a sour version of it. But recently they came out with, I got a package right here, they came out with peach and green apple. Alright. Now I have had these for a little while and I was not allowed to try them. Unless, well, I shared with Mrs. Guru and all that good stuff. So, not sponsored by them. They just were awesome and sent me some yummy gummies. They are high protein, very low sugar. There's only 3 grams of sugar per bag. Down in the description below is a link to the Tactical Snacks store. So I'm opening peach first because I know that's what Mrs. Guru is waiting on. So we're going to try it real quick. I'm absolutely excited to see this. They're soft. I think I lost those. If you get the regular ones, the non-sour ones, just the Watermelon Overwatch protein gummies, they can be a bit on the hard side. So, yeah, I just lost them. Mrs. Guru snatched them up. They're gone. Apples are good. Both of them on point. Those are good. Wow, those are really good. That's what she was waiting on. She wanted me to open those so she could try them. She's not a big fan of the regular watermelon. She doesn't like watermelon in general, but what do you think?
I like the peach. They're mine.
I've lost the peach, guys.
These are actually really good.
I guess I lost the sour watermelon. Or what is that? Apple.
Green apple.
Green apple. I've lost
sour
them.
gummies, and I don't like.
I lost them. Oh, there they go. Out the door. All right. And if you guys watched the short I did just recently talking about the Glock Grip from GlockGrip.com and the Got Draco patch. So this Glock Grip is for the Glock 17, 17L, 19X, 34, and 45. The person that did win it reached out to me and they said, hey, I appreciate it. That's awesome. I do not own a Glock. So throw them back in the mix and give them to somebody else. So everybody that made a comment on that short is in the little drawing. Here's a little spinny wheel. And we're going to tap it and let's see who wins. I will tag it in the comment. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You guys can't see it. D70 Racing. So I'm going to screenshot that. Hand that off. And I will put that in that comment section. I will tag D70 Racing. And we will go from there. Tonight's giveaway. I know some people saw it and they got super excited. Tonight's giveaway is going to be a Glock Grip from GlockGrip.com. Again, it is for the Glock 17, 17L, 19X, 34, and 45. And it is hot pink. So nice. Now, we are including a patch. I've already picked the patch. And it is Save the Pups, Abolish the ATF from GOA when I was down at Goals. And why not? I threw in a sticker that we got while we were down there. It is a bar of soap and it says Strike Club from one of the companies. So get in the chat, get in the comment section, make some noise, let me know you're there, and we will put you in for a drawing in a couple of days for that one. Of course, you know, down in the description below is going to be a link to the merch store, and you can always become a member here, right here on YouTube, or on local Patreon, all kinds of good things. You're good. I will catch you later. So I will jump right into it. And as you guys can see, there's the merch store. Guns and Coffee, again, is another channel. I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm figuring it out, guys. Then we got Freedom Through Violence, Guns and Ammo, which is everybody's favorite. We got FAFO, so on and so forth. Lots of cool merch in there. Bonfire is actually pretty good when you order stuff. Boom, you get it within a reasonable amount of time. So if you're wanting to support the channel, feel free to hit up the merch store. Okay, let's get into it. This is why you guys are here, not for me shilling for t-shirts and sweatshirts and all that jazz. All right, if you did not see a super viral video I did, well, here's News 8, WTNH. Police, Newington gun store owner accused of stealing a firearm. Okay, so rumor has it, I'm sure you guys saw the video, but if not, I'll get into the rumor. If not, just this week in Newington, the owner of the gun store, Hoffman's, was arrested for theft. He stole a $15,000 Beretta shotgun. So apparently it was sent to him back in 2019, and it was not supposed to go there. It was supposed to go to a Bass Pro Shop down in Tennessee. Well, he, from what has been said from witnesses, the people that work there, said he's basically said, to hell with it. He's keeping it. He's not telling Beretta. And he just threw it in a back room. They found it, I think the article said 3 years ago when they were doing their audit. That was 2022. How often do you guys do audits? You should be doing them monthly. Apparently, he is not. So, they did that, and he put it up for sale. Of course, somebody wanted to buy it. They wanted to spend. It was on sale for like a little over $12K. Someone wanted to buy it. Well, when you buy a gun here in Connecticut, not only do you get a background check, but so do your guns. And the gun popped as stolen. Police show up. They do their little investigation. And, well, he's arrested. There you go. That's Scott right there. Scott Hoffman. And he told Tedesco that he was going to pay for the shotgun, which he never did. And, well, we all know. I mean, you guys can go back and watch the original breakdown, the original video. It's been on a few other YouTube channels. And it's kind of a big deal. Now, apparently, this isn't the first time he has done it. Now, everyone was kind of like, well, you know, trying to defend him in the comment section, which I found quite interesting. There's really no defending this, guys. This is just wrong. You are in a state that is very anti-2A. You're in a state that literally put in our state budget money for all the anti-gun groups, the gun safety groups, and they don't fund CCDL, the pro gun group that we have. So you understand that the state is against us. Now they're going to throw their full weight behind this, I'm sure. He was released on a $250,000 bond. I think it was $250,000. Could be wrong. I don't know. You guys will correct me in chat. But here's the key. So a lot of people in the comment section were like, well, what's the statute of limitations on this? It's back in 2019. It's like, okay, so I looked it up, and it's 5 years. A stolen gun is got a 5-year statute of limitations. But they also generated all the paperwork for the shotgun in shop. They falsified documents to get it into the A&D log. This gun was reported stolen by Beretta. There was no paperwork with it for Hoffman's, and they just created it out of the ether. Now, doing a little more research, yes, 5 years is the cutoff. However, there's a caveat. The cutoff is 5 years from the moment the crime was found. So from 2019 to just July of this year, nobody knew the gun was there. I mean, they knew the gun was there, but no crime had been committed or reported. Well, when they ran the background check, boom, there's the crime. So, yes, statute of limitations is 5 years from when police know the crime started. So the crime started basically in July. That's at least how I'm looking at it. So they'll probably use the full weight of state of Connecticut, the Attorney General. I'm sure the ATF is going to get involved, and they're probably going to hammer Scott. I think stupidity and greed got the best of them. Probably more stupidity than anything. Now, I was told that it's hearsay, guys, third party, that he's not even on the FFL for Hoffman's. So if he's charged, ATF might not pull the FFL from Hoffman's. But he is the business owner, and the state of Connecticut, well, they can pull their own creds to where he can't sell anything in the state of Connecticut. Yes, he may still have his FFL, but he won't be able to do business in Connecticut. We shall see what happens. He is due in court, I think, Monday. All right? So we'll have to stand by with that one. Speaking of court cases, I know a lot of you keep asking about Heather and what is going on with her case. The single mother outside of Plymouth that was arrested with an illegal possession of an assault weapon, which you guys can go back and watch those videos. She is due into court October 22nd. So we shall see what happens. I doubt I'm going to make that case or that court visit, but I will be able to talk to people in the know, find out what happened, and of course I do get regular updates from the state of Connecticut. There you go. So again, let me know in the chat what you guys think. I still, listen guys, it blows my mind that people were defending this. Now, I talked trash about Hoffman's, okay? I've never had a good experience when I've gone in there. And I know many, many, many other people that have gone in there and have had horrible experiences. And then there are the people like, I've always had a good experience. I don't know. Maybe it's hit or miss. Maybe I just go on a wrong day. But every time I was in there, I always felt like I was an inconvenience, okay? I'm used to walking to a gun store and being greeted, say, hey, how are you doing? Do you need any help? And when I'm like, no, I just want to look, then I get to be left alone. But when I do need help, I just ask an employee, hey, could you please help me? I don't need my hand held. All right, I don't need to be walked through everything. It's like some of you put in the comments, like, you don't go to a gun store, you shouldn't be walked through it. Knock it off. Okay, I do want customer service, and if I have a question, I would like it answered. If I'd like to see a firearm, I'd like it in my hand. I'd like, here's my permit. Could I see that gun, please? No, not at Hoffman's. You have to take a number. And if you don't have a number, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a really nice gun. I'd really like to see that one. Do you have a number? Well, no. You have to take a number first and wait. That's crap, guys. That's garbage. So, that's my 2 cents on it. You guys let me know down in the comment section if you guys love Hoffman's and think it's the best. But hey, Hoffman's is the largest gun store that we have here in Connecticut. And, well, this does not look good, guys. I'd rather go to a small mom and pop shop where I'm treated with respect and maybe treated like family if I'm a regular customer. So, you know, you do you, boo. I don't care. I'm just letting you know what I think. You think something different? That's great. Cool. But since we're talking about Connecticut and how screwed up everything is, did you know that here in like 4 days, plus or minus, October 1st will hit, and a slew of new laws go into effect. Now, some of you, obviously, you subscribe to this channel, so you pay attention. And you know when, hey, laws change, and I put things up, and I try to break it down for you, explain what's going on with it, when's it going to take effect, so on and so forth. But every class that I teach on the weekends, and I taught one Tuesday and yesterday on Friday, I asked everybody in the class, hey, did you know HB 6667 got passed? And they're like, no. I'm like, did you know HB 7042 got passed? They're like, nope. I'm like, well, did you know that HB 6859 got passed? They're like, nope. Because they don't pay attention. I wish I wish I didn't have to pay attention, but obviously I do because this is what I do. I bring you guys the information so you don't have to pay attention as much as I do. Trust me, sitting there reading these laws, not joyful. But I wanted to bring up everything that's going to be happening. Several new laws will take effect October 1st. Now, this is from Connecticut News Junkie. When you scroll through, look at that. Sunday hunting on private land. It's a new law effective October 1st. Yes, it's a good one. It will allow people to hunt and trap on private land on Sundays with the landowner's permission, which was previously been illegal. Many hunters, young and old, testified at the most recent legislative session about how conflicting work and school schedules may make it difficult to get out during the week, and urged the legislature to provide Sunday options. Well, that's great. I'm glad Connecticut News Junkie threw that in there. That's a good bill, guys. House Bill 7231. It was voted on 101 to 45, and it passed the Senate 32 to 4 in June. There you go. And then they go on about you can't marry your first cousin. The fact that was even legal in Connecticut is insane. Handcuffing juveniles, increased fines for reckless driving, blah, blah. Guess what they don't talk about? HB 7042. Nope. So let's get away from Connecticut News Junkie. Let's go to the patch. 90 new laws will take effect October 1st. And these are one of the most likely to change your life. So they talk about PA 2565. That's great. They're talking about the woods. In the woods. New law allows Sunday hunting. Cool. Courtroom stuff. Classroom stuff. At home. Which doesn't help me. Oh, in the workplace. You know what's not listed there? 7042 or 6859. In fact, when you go to the Connecticut General Assembly and you start scrolling at all these new laws, it's insane. Absolutely insane. And they haven't taken any laws away. Ever. In Connecticut, and I talk about this in class and people laugh. In Connecticut, it's illegal to buy pickles that don't bounce. So if you've ever gone to the grocery store and bought a jar of Vlasic pickles and they did not bounce, technically that's against the law in Connecticut. It's also against the law in Connecticut to walk backwards after sunset. That is still a law. Obviously, they're not enforced, but these laws never get removed. They just keep adding laws. One day I'm going to figure it out. Maybe I'll ask Grok or ChatGPT. How many actual laws does Connecticut have? And then we'll look into other states. But some of the things you need to know, okay, that are getting passed. I made a list of them, and I just wanted to make sure that we discussed them all. So, there are two huge changes that would take effect October 1st. Okay, first and foremost, guys, October 1st. No more DPS 67s. That's right, they are gone. Even the state, even SLFU testified against having a DPS 67. They're like, it's a duplicate form. We already have the 4473. Asks all the questions. Why is the state of Connecticut asking these stupid questions? So it's gone away. You still have to do your 4473. That's a federal thing. And in Connecticut, you still have to do your DPS 3, which we all know goes to the registry. The registry that does not exist. Because remember, you get a copy, your FFL has a copy, your local PD gets a copy, and the state police get a copy. And it's all done electronically now. And of course, that information gets loaded into the database for offenders and non-offenders so the police can look that stuff up. It's still there. All right, what else changes? There's an exemption from the three handguns a month for handguns that are transferred from someone who has passed away. You need a will, probate, trust, etc. So when the 3 handgun a month for regular people and 6 handguns a month for instructors was passed and put into law, the biggest problem was estates. What happens if somebody passes and they have a bunch of guns? And the state's like, well, we just assume that you'll be able to transfer them all in one shot. It wasn't working that way. So now they've codified it in law that if all the firearms are part of a will, probate, trust, etc., they can all be transferred in one shot. Simple. Now you don't need to list every single gun in your will. When you do your will, all you have to do is list, just say, all firearms. That's it. That's pretty much what my will says. All firearms. And then the big thing that passes. FFLs and gun shops are going to be held liable for whatever you do with your guns. That's awesome. So, I have a copy of 7042 right here to show you guys. And we're going to go through it real quick. So, who is held liable? Simple. Firearm industry members. So what is that? This is what it is. It means a person, firm, corporation, company, partnership, society, joint stock company, trade association, or any other entity or association engaged with the manufacturing, distribution, importation, marketing, wholesale, or retail sale of firearm industry products. I fall under marketing. This is civil liability for not just the FFL. It is for people like me. It is for the manufacturers, and it's for the distributors. So you buy a gun from an FFL, you do bad things, the FFL is held responsible. Maybe you bought the gun because I did a gun review. I could be held liable. The intermediary, like Lipsies, they could be held responsible, and so shall be the manufacturer of said firearm. So we got that going for us. Isn't that great, guys? Now, outside of this, it talks about reasonable controls, and I beat this to nauseum. But here is the big one. So we understand the liabilities there, and there's tons of lawyers currently working on this. Like, so they're trying to figure out, like, if you buy a gun from an FFL, I know many FFLs that are working on this. If they make you sign a waiver saying you won't go do bad things, would that cover them? That's what they're trying to figure out right now. My biggest concern right here is the whole thing's an absolute shit show. However, if you go to line 36, it is subsection C. It also prevents the sale or distribution in this state of a firearm industry product, that's a gun, that is designed in a manner that is reasonably foreseeable to promote conversion of a legal industry firearm product into an illegal firearm industry product. That's dystopian. That is all that is explained. We don't even know how to interpret that. Is that your Glocks? Is that your stripped lower? Is that a shotgun? Nobody knows. It's so arbitrary. I think that's the best word. Nobody understands it. It's not just here in Connecticut. Currently, we have California, Washington, New York, and a bunch of other states going after Glock and Glock-like firearms due to their ability to be illegally transformed into a machine gun with an illegal switch. Now, I did that on purpose, guys, because the switch is illegal. Transforming a standard semi-automatic into a machine gun is illegal. So doing both is definitely a lot of illegal. But now we're making the gun itself illegal. So instead of holding the people that are doing this responsible, they're going after the manufacturers. It's not just here. In fact, I pulled this up. We'll get to this in a minute. Let me move that over there. I pulled this up, so bear with me, guys, and watch this. I hope to God it plays for all of you. This is coming out of Seattle.
Davison taking legal action against gun maker Glock, as well as gun stores in South King and Pierce counties.
She says they are distributing guns that are easily made into illegal, fully automatic firearms. Camera 7's Brandon Thompson pressing her about what she thinks this will change. So what did she have to say, Brandon?
Davison points to Seattle police reporting that there are more bullet casings being found at shootings. That includes the mass shooting here in Pioneer Square earlier this year, where bullet holes are still on businesses. Prosecutors say it was a converted Glock used in that shooting.
So you have the full auto selection, obviously what we've been shooting.
Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison suing the gun maker Glock over that illegal modification. The suit cites this YouTube video showing how a semi-automatic Glock can be changed to fire like a fully automatic gun.
But that's not really fun, so let's go back to full auto.
That was 30 bullets fired on fully automatic. Davison says it's Glock's design that's the problem, saying in the suit, quote, Glock knows its pistols are being exploited in this way, and the company, quote, has made no meaningful effort to change its weapons.
We can't do it alone. We do need Glock to help with this problem, to see a reduction in gun violence.
Wait a minute. So what she wants, Ann Davison, we need Glock's help. What they want is for Glock to redesign a gun that was perfected in the mid-'80s. Now, the fact that somebody's exploiting it, it's not Glock's fault. In fact, with a little bit of know-how, you can really make a lot of illegal guns very easily. With soda cans, you can modify things. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just letting you know it's general knowledge. Criminals do criminal things. Glock should not be held responsible for that.
And the use of their weapons in this format, because it is so many shots fired at every incident.
Davison points to the number of shell casings Seattle police recovered, doubling in 2023 compared to 2020, as evidence of the use of weapons being used in shootings, like the mass shooting that killed 3 in Pioneer Square earlier this year, and a shooting that injured 1 in West Seattle last year.
We are finding that a lot of juveniles have these modified Glocks with those switches, and to me that's very scary.
Bullseye Indoor Range in Tacoma and Rainier Arms in Auburn, 2 stores named in the suit, told me they are not commenting. Pantel Tactical's owner tells me he will...
So in Seattle, they're not just suing Glock, they're suing some of the FFLs that sell these products. And that's literally what Connecticut has just passed. I did a video on what California did. California is literally, they're not banning Glocks by name, they're banning firearms, handguns that have cruciform triggers, which is literally a Glock and Glock-like clones, Shadow Systems, Ruger, things like that.
Fight the suit, saying he's never sold or shown a customer a modification, pointing to this sign in his store showing they're illegal. What do you think would change with gun violence in Seattle if these changes are made?
I think we would go back to a time where we didn't have 90 shots fired. Again, that is not what we had historically. It puts all of us at risk. We're all in the line of fire.
We did reach out to the gun manufacturer Glock and did not hear back by our deadline. Reporting in Seattle, Brandon Thompson, Cairo 7 News.
Listen, hood booger is going to go do hood booger things. You can pass all the laws. They break the law. They don't care. Laws only work for the law abiding. I don't understand how the lawmakers don't understand this. Literally, Connecticut could come out and ban every single gun. We have to turn them all in, get rid of them, going down the road of Australia. And you know what would happen? Only the criminals would have guns. We'd just be victims. And then Connecticut would be like, we need more laws. All you have to do is look at the UK. UK banned all guns. Regular people can't own guns. Hell, even their cops don't carry guns. That blows my mind. So what did the gangs resort to? Zombie knives. It's a brand. They're running around with machetes, kitchen knives, things like that. So what is the UK doing now? They're doing common sense knife control. So basically your kitchen knives, machetes, things like that, they're going to go away. They're going to make them illegal. So it's like no matter what you do, no matter what laws you pass, the criminals are going to do criminal things. I wish they would get that through their head. Recently, we had the shooting in the ICE facility. And wouldn't you know, guess who was on? Colbert, whatever his name is, I don't know, I don't watch it. But everybody's favorite, Chris Murphy. Yes, and he was introduced as the one senator who goes above and beyond calling for gun control because Sandy Hook touched him personally. Look, I can't stand Murphy. I can't stand Blumenthal, and I can't stand Lamont. I think they're all horrible, crappy politicians. But Murphy's out there now talking about how we need common sense long gun control. Now, I don't know if you've seen the photos of The Departed, because he's a coward. He shot into a white van and he nailed immigrants that were brought into custody. Didn't hit a single ICE officer. And then he decided to basically send his soul on a field trip. Okay? In the photo, you look at the gun that he has. It's like an 8mm Mauser. It's an old World War I gun. It's old as hell. It uses stripper clips. And we were looking at it. We're trying to figure out, because at the time they released photos of just the ammunition. And we weren't sure. I was like, maybe 30-06, maybe something else. I don't know. Maybe a copycat. Turns out, most people have identified it as 8mm Mauser. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Old gun. So it doesn't fit the narrative, nor did the Charlie Kirk shooter. It did not fit the narrative with the type of firearm that they used. So you didn't hear them really clamoring like, we need common sense gun. It didn't fit the narrative, guys. Charlie Kirk was a bolt action, and the ICE facility was, as far as I could tell, a semi-automatic, but it's from like World War I. So it's like this guy decided that he was going to go, Farm XP at the ICE facility with a Mosin and a gun. I mean, it's really, really bad. It doesn't matter what they ban. They ban all AKs, all ARs. These people are going to use crusty old-ass guns from a time long gone to break the law, to do bad things. It's just the way it is. And they keep calling for more gun control, just control, more control. I'm just waiting for people that love the Second Amendment to be sick and tired of this and either vote differently or just pack up your toys and leave. I don't know. Speaking of packing up your toys and leaving, this is going to be a PSA for you. I've discussed it in a prior video, but the ATF is recognizing everybody's Form 1s from when they did that little free tax stamp. You can SBR your others. For the rest of the country is SBR your guns with a brace. Well, those are still in effect. Even though the paperwork said it is only for XYZ, basically the brace ban. ATF is honoring them all. Which means, just so you know, guys, if you travel outside of the state and you are trying to take your other with you or go out of state, it is technically an SBR. You need to do extra paperwork to do that. Just so you know. Just letting you guys know. PSA. All right, let's get back into it. I'm going to jump to the next story. All right, this, I'm going to kind of really beat around the bush on it. I saw this. Okay, I just got a text. They're asking that I turn my volume up. So let me just adjust. Nope, everything looks good. All right, we'll do this. Mic. All right, I just cranked it up. It might get a little too loud for some of you. It is in the yellow according to the soundboard. All right, as I was saying, this is a touchy subject. This came across the Central EMS page. We saw it in passing. We were really curious about it. Haven't heard much about it. I do know a lot about it. Stuff that I'm not going to share. I'm thinking about going down and doing a FOIA request so I can bring it to you. But I found this on Reddit from Central Connecticut EMS Fire, Wallingford, Blue Trail Range. Possible boo-boo, self-inflicted boo-boo. All right. Now, some people say, well, without further evidence or context, there may be many reasons to believe this isn't just a negligent discharge. And he's got, well, 19 thumbs up. Well, Scout, Penguin, hate to break it to you, buddy. The context is correct. It was not an ND. It was not an 80. It was on purpose. If someone goes, a P320 problem? It was not a P320. It was somebody who went to a dark place, saw no way out, and hurt themselves. So guys, listen, I know we all have our dark times. We all feel sad, feel blue. Hell, if you're a veteran like me, you know all about the 22. Like I always tell my veteran friends, when you're feeling down and low, call me. I'd rather sit there for hours listening to your problems than to sit there and listen to your eulogy. I take that stuff very seriously. So if you need help, there is help out there, guys. Just letting you know. Don't do what this individual did. Again, I do know a lot more than any of you, and I am not going to discuss it. I will, however, contemplate getting a FOIA request from Wallingford PD and see if I can get my hands on the police report, and then we'll discuss it. I mean, feel free to share it amongst yourselves down in the comment section. I'm not going to stop you. Speaking of the comment section, in the last video I did, in case you didn't notice, I pinned a comment to the top. Because an individual told me, and I laughed, that if I put out better content, I wouldn't have to ask for likes or subscribers. So, if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to the channel and toggle that notification bell. This way you always get updated when I do a new video or do a live. Usually they're Saturday nights. Unless there's something major breaking, then yeah, it's a Saturday night live for about an hour. About an hour. You know, we talk about certain things, and if we're out of stuff, we're out of stuff. One of the other things I want to show you is, this is in lieu of, we just passed more gun laws. There's a bunch, guys. But, did you know, this is for every town. I feel disgusting going to this site. I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but Connecticut gun laws, we are number 5 in the country for gun law strength. So what that tells me is we're down from number 4 last year. We are very anti-2A. Very anti-gun. There are freer states out there. And they tell you right there, in the wake of the tragic mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012, Connecticut strengthened gun laws and expanding assault weapons, high capacity, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. So let's go through some of these real quick. Background checks and or purchase permit. Okay, background check. That is everywhere when you buy a gun from an FFL. That's a federal law, guys. You got to do it. Now, they don't tell you that. Other states, you can do a person-to-person transfer as long as I'm transferring a firearm to a known non-offender. So I know you're not prohibited for some reason. I can just transfer a gun to somebody because the only thing that gets done in states like Oklahoma, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Tennessee, etc. is the 4473, which is remanded at the FFL until 25 years have passed or the FFL closes. Then, if the FFL were to close, the 4473s are sent to the ATF, where they're supposed to keep a paper copy and file it away in a cabinet. They are not supposed to digitize them and make it searchable. Currently, they are digitizing them, and I remember a couple years ago, they said, oh, we pay Adobe extra to make sure they're not searchable. They're searchable. Just saying. It's a searchable database. Now, if the FFL reached 25 years, they have that option. They could send them to the ATF, or they could just keep them. I know plenty of FFLs around here that just keep them and they refuse to send them to the ATF. Good on you, boys. All right, we have a concealed carry permit requirement. Yes. We have extreme risk orders. No shoot first law. Secure storage and child access prevention. Yep, that law basically just says, hey, if the gun is not in your direct control, you must lock it up. Assault weapons are prohibited. Auto sears and Glock switches are prohibited. Wow, look at that. That's already a law. They're prohibited. Now we're banning the gun that criminals use to break the law. More laws piled on top of laws. Bump stocks are prohibited. Listen, you know my stance on bump stocks. I think they're absolutely stupid. However, I think you have a right to own one if you want one. That's me. Consumer safety laws. Requires new handgun models sold in the state to have child-proofing features. We don't have that law. Dealer license required. That's what I was talking about, Hoffman's. Not only is the dealer certified through the FFL certified through the federal government, the ATF and all that jazz, Connecticut has its own registry. They passed it, it was part of HB Satan 7, where they have requirements for FFLs to continue being an FFL in the state of Connecticut, including an annual inventory given to the state police. Ghost guns are totally regulated. Yet we keep passing laws to ban things that are already banned. High-capacity magazines are prohibited. I don't know what that is. I know what a standard capacity magazine is. Now, of course, you know this year we tried to get the limit up to 15, and it kind of went nowhere. It came out of judiciary and stalled. I think they should just have a law that says standard capacity. Standard capacity magazines are legal, and that's it. I could live with that. My Glock 17, it's designed to hold 17 plus one in the chamber. That is the standard capacity. That's the way it should be. Legal accountability for the gun industry. Yep. HB 7042. But even prior to that, remember that we had a lawyer here in Connecticut that sued Remington into oblivion for the Sandy Hook families. In fact, if you go back to my public hearing on 7042, you'll see that Harry Potter goblin talking. Throwing lies out there left and right, talking about how AR-15s vaporize people and whatnot. Microstamping for new handguns. Thank God they have not tried this bullshit yet. But California is. The technology does not exist. No carrying after violent offenses. Yeah, that is also federal law. No gun mandates on college campuses. Okay, we can't carry guns on a college campus. Duh. Some states allow this, such as Utah, as long as you are a Utah resident with a Utah permit or a provisional permit. That's for people under 21. No guns at state capitals or at demonstrations. Okay. No gun in bars is not a law. Correct. You have no law that explicitly bars you from drinking whilst having a gun. The law that we do have says that your blood alcohol level cannot get past 0.08. You can't drive, and you can't have your gun. If you get too drunk at a bar, you can Uber home. But if you get too drunk at a bar and you have your gun, you can't call Goober and have them, Uber your gun home. And like I tell people in class all the time, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's smart. Because you go into a bar, you have one beer over the course of an hour, you are nowhere near 0.08. But as you're walking through the parking lot, heading home after that one beer over the course of an hour, you have some weirdo that jumps out in a hockey mask, a machete, screaming that you must hand over all your Skittles. And you don't have any Skittles. All you have are Starburst. And you're fearing for your life. So you draw and you boop them. Now, you're going to call the police. And they're going to show up. What do you smell like? You smell like alcohol. What'd you just come walking out of? The bar. What are you doing inside that bar? According to eyewitnesses and any cameras that may be there, you were drinking. And now you're giving a story about some guy screaming about you giving up Skittles. When you go to court and you try to explain that to the jury, you're going to jail. I'm just saying. No guns in K through 12 schools. Yeah. All schools are off limits. It's a Class D felony. Open carry is regulated. They can't say that it's banned because it is not. It is highly regulated. You cannot open carry The way it works is the law says you cannot carry with intent to display unless you are on property that you own or lease, you are in your own dwelling, or a business that you own. Implied areas would be the gun range for safety. Strong concealed carry authority, allowing officials to bar concealed carry by people who pose a danger. Basically a red flag law, guys. In the state of Connecticut, though, from my understanding, the police cannot ask you for your gun permit or to see your gun permit unless you are somehow breaking the law or you are assumed to be committing some sort of crime. Otherwise, they can ask you for your permit. That's my understanding. Could be wrong. Let me know in the chat, guys. We have emergency restraining order that prohibits you from having guns. Yes, you get a restraining order against you. It's basically the red flags will kick in. Bars domestic abusers from having guns while subject to short-term emergency orders. It's not just domestic abusers. It's a restraining order in general. So I really feel for those that are married and they decide they're getting a divorce. Both lawyers could literally take restraining orders out on each other. The lawyers take them out on husband and wife, and then red flags kick in. It's horrible. Felony prohibited, and they just go on and on and on. We don't have a school threat assessment team, though. We should. Stalker prohibitor bans possession by convicted stalkers. We don't have that. We don't. Gun tracing. You can see all this stuff, guys. All right, it's absolutely dystopian. There's so many gun laws in there. But I also wanted to get to your chats. So we've got cool little 12 minutes or so. So I'm going to pull up chats real quick and see what's going on. Good evening, Lloyd. Hey, let's see. Hey, D70 Racing, you said cool. I'm glad you saw it. You are the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Do me a favor. All you have to do is go to the website, gunguruactual.com, and there is, right on the front page, a contact me. Do that, or you can use one of the socials and shoot me a DM. I'm all over the socials. Every single one. Facebook, Instagram, Truth, all of them. It's all at Gun Guru Actual. So, there you go. You can see it right at the bottom. At Gun Guru Actual. Everyone says, hey, hi, hello. Is your mic on? I can hear you, but it's faint. Malcolm, literally Mrs. Guru texted me to turn up the volume. So I adjusted it. I hope you can hear me. The soundboard is screaming at me currently. It is not happy, but I hope it made it a little better for you. D70 Racing says, in my opinion, it's targeting Glock. Yes. Yes, it is. But I also think it's targeting much more than just Glock. If I buy a stripped lower, it's legal. I could walk in right now and buy an Anderson lower for like $100 at Lock and Load in Southington. I'm only allowed to build a bolt action, a dedicated 22 LR, or a fixed mag AR. What guarantees does that FFL have that I'm actually going to do any of that? I have a blank lower. I could easily build whatever I want in violation of every single law out there. Not just state, but federal too. Does that mean now that the FFL would be held liable for me doing bad things? That's the question. Which means, if they are, they're going to just stop selling stripped lowers, which it's legal to do. You're legal, you can buy those. Well, a regular shotgun. It's a regular old shotgun. If you cut the barrel too short, which is stupid if you're cutting the barrel, that is illegal. What's going to stop people from doing that? I mean, I know exactly what's going to stop people from doing that. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you're buying a gun inside of an FFL. If you're a hood booger, a little hood rat, a little criminal, you're not doing that, so you're off doing whatever. You're stealing the guns, you're breaking into these FFLs. all that stuff. So it's not going to stop criminals from doing the criminal things. Someone asking for the volume to be turned up. All right, Nick writes, Glock added a plastic part to the Gen 5 to prevent switches without work, and late Gen 5s and Gen 6s, that part will be metal. Yes, but there are plenty of Gen 4s, Gen 3s out there. People put guns on consignment all the time. And again, the knuckleheads that are doing this are not going into an FFL and buying it. They're stealing them. Maybe not from the FFL, but they're breaking into homes and stealing them. That's why you lock all your stuff up, guys. Not because the state's like, you need to lock it all up, because it's mine. They are mine, and I'm keeping them. You're not getting them. Yeah, volume is good for me. Sometimes, guys, it helps if you just back out of the video and reset everything and open her back up. Chewing Bubblegum says high-capacity liberal politicians. Starburst, I always thought Scott was a little goofy. You can add stupid to that. Listen. Stupid is not a strong enough word. I have no idea what would run through your head to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep it. And then on top of that, I'm going to sell it. Bro. That's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. Something wrong with you. Something seriously wrong with you. So, that's it for the chats, which is nice. So, you guys are all caught up on that. So, let me know what you guys think, though. What's coming down around the bend, October 1st. 7042 is going to take effect. Is the state going to use it to go after the FFLs, to shut them down? Are they going to use it to go after these gun manufacturers and these third parties? Is it opening the floodgate for all these victims of so-called crimes to go after people? It doesn't say. I mean, it's simple. The way I see it is, you as a law-abiding citizen are doing your everyday carry, and you're attacked by someone nefarious. Hood booger. You defend yourself. You do what you need to do. Okay? This little criminal with a long rap sheet does have a baby mama. And got a very young baby. We already know you're held liable, or could be held liable, for child support for that child here in Connecticut. Up till the age of 18. It's happened before. But now, does baby mama, the grandparents, anyone like that get to go after you? Or I should say, because you bought a gun legally from, say, Hoffman's. Can they, like, well, you bought this gun at Hoffman's, so I'm going to sue Hoffman's. Hoffman's bought it from Lipsy's. I'm going to sue Lipsy's. Lipsy's bought it from Ruger. So now we're suing the crap out of Ruger. One person is suing everybody. And then, of course, whatever town it happened in can be like, you know what? This is wrong. You shouldn't have done that. You have a duty to retreat. We're going to sue Hoffman's to Lipsy's to Ruger too. And then, of course, you think Tong's going to be left out? Tong's going to go after it too. Tong's going to be like, oh yeah, we're suing Hoffman's, Lipsy's, and Ruger. They've done it before. They opened the floodgates when they were allowed to sue Remington. The families could sue Remington over Sandy Hook. Okay, and it's going to be here in Connecticut, guys. It's not going to be in some faraway state where a jury or whatever may be like, hey, this is kind of ridiculous, and throw it out. No, this is going to be here, locally. Look at what our courts did to Alex Jones. They wanted more money from that man than the GDP of France, and nearly got it. I mean, they got a crazy amount of money that he will never pay back. That's why they've just dismantled whatever platform he was on. I forget the name of it. InfoWars. You can say I really don't pay attention to They sued him into oblivion. Same group sued Remington into oblivion. So eventually there will be a lawsuit where they will sue your local FFL into oblivion, whether it be Lock and Load, Hoffman's, Swamp Yankee, Wolf's is an FFL, the gun store in Waterbury. It doesn't matter. They're going to go after these people. Let me know what you think. I personally think they're going to go after them. That's me. I did just get a text. DM. Guess who it's from? It's from D70 Racing. All right, bro, I got it. After the live stream, I will shoot you over info, questions, and I will get the Glock Grip from GlockGrip.com. Thank you to GlockGrip.com for giving me this to give away for the Glock 17, 19X, 34, etc. You're getting the Got Draco patch. Cool little Glock Grip sticker. And today, we are giving away the hot pink one, 17, Glock 19X, etc. Pretty rad. Pink. We're giving away the little cool sticker of soap called Strike Club. And remember, the first rule of Strike Club is strike first. And then you're getting this really cool patch that says Save a Pup. Abolish the ATF. It's got a little puppy on it. It's from Gun Owners of America. We got to make goals. So, let me know. And October 1st, I got to find it. October 1st, guys, I have given McNasty long enough. McNasty has not gotten back to me. This is going to go back on. This is the checkered one. This is actually the first one we gave away. It is for the 19, the 23, 25, 28, 32. This will go up, the little cool checkered one. And since we've got the little magic bag of patches, we will do... we'll do this patch. It's from Canic. Superiority in its prime. Little American Eagle right there. A little gun. We'll include that patch. And this stick right here. The sticker. From AIM. Little ammo drop. Boom. So October 1st, guys. That will go back on. Unless McNasty obviously reaches out to me. So there's that. But it is 19:59, so I'm going to sign off and go kick it, relax, and I will see all of you in the next video and probably next Saturday night doing a live. Get in the comment section, guys. Leave me a comment, and I'll put you in the drawing for that hot pink. That's over here. For all of this, and a day or two, I will draw a name, do a short, all that good stuff. Till then, I will holler all of you later. You guys have a great night. I'll see you later.